So we live in Rome, Italy, and Italy is 0.8% evangelical, which is a very, very small percent of the culture. The population is gospel believing. Very few of those are Bible teaching churches. So when you whittle it down to that, there's just so few communities in Rome, as well as the country, that are actually teaching the Bible, love Jesus, and are on mission spreading the gospel. Even though there's been a presence of Christians here for a long, long time. I mean, it's Rome. You've heard the stories, but Rome's never seen a revival. There's never been a mass movement to Christ in Italy. The Reformation never got over the hills and into Italy, and so very, very Catholic culture, very religious culture. But you run into somebody today, they're not, odds are, it's so likely they are not Bible-believing Christians.
The grandparents' generation here, for the most part, still go to Mass, but anybody under that generation are very just agnostic. There might be a God out there, but He has nothing to do with me or would even care.
So when we came to Rome, we realized that to find a gospel-centered community was really hard. It was really hard to find, and it was really hard to build. We realized the work was cut out for us. It was just hard soil, to put it that way. It's a really hard place to do life, to do ministry. And there are pockets of communities around this city where there's English speakers, people coming from all over the world, and they're in these neighborhoods for a certain amount of time for all kinds of reasons. Everything from refugees to businessmen, from diplomats to digital nomads. They live all over the city, and they all have particular cultures and places, but English is a tool we use to reach across cultures with the gospel. Rome International Church will not grow large. We want to grow many. The difference is we don't want to become a big church. We want to become a multiplied church. So let's say 5 years from now, we have a kind of a decentralized church. There's pockets of Bible studies going on, outreaches happening, little communities of faith-filled believers encouraging one another and battling against isolation and loneliness, because that's exactly what the enemy uses, particularly in international communities. And so I see Rome International Church becoming a network of these Bible studies and home groups and churches that are being planted around the city.
It's so hard to get around the city in Rome that people are very isolated.
There's a teacher at one of the international schools nearby who found us online and started coming to church, and she expressed to us on multiple occasions, it's just so lonely. It's such a dark environment where I work, and nobody knows Christ, and it's almost hostile towards Christianity. And we said, we don't know what to do exactly. I mean, we know share your faith and talk about Jesus, but it's hard when you're the only one. So we said we can always pray. Nothing happened immediately. We waited a while, but it was God's grace that in the middle of August 15th is a big holiday here, and everybody leaves. The city is empty. And so we decided we'll have church. We knew there would be 1 or 2 people here, so we'll make sure the door is open. And we'll have a plan. And come to find out that day our church was full. It was full, and it's been full since then. And it was amazing, because that gal we prayed with who said, God, would you send people to this school who know and love Jesus? And most of the people who showed up that Sunday had children in that school. They were new faculty or staff at that school, and some she saw and said, "Oh, I didn't know that you were a Christian." And so that's why we're here, to see these communities build, that God would bring kingdom-minded people to Rome to gather together, open the Bible, see what it has to say to us, discover who Jesus is, and then to live a life on mission here in Rome.
We find a lot of the internationals have never been discipled. And so people who come to help serve, if they're just willing to sit down beside someone and say, hey, let's study the Bible together. You know, let's go have coffee and learn about the book of John. We would love for people like that who can just sit down and talk over chapters and disciple someone through what the Bible's all about.
Well, if it's ministry related and you want to invest in the church in music or outreach or pastoral ministry, you know, we would love to have that conversation with you. It'd be so exciting.
There's a lot of need for just hands and feet, people who love Jesus, who are willing to serve and live alongside discipling.
There's really no end to the opportunities to share Christ, especially as a community of believers that is living out the gospel. It becomes such an attractive community in a place where it's virtually unseen. I want to invite you to be a part of what God's doing here. Doesn't matter where you've come from, what your background is, whether you know one language or 10 languages. It doesn't matter what experiences you've had. God can use you here in ways that you have no idea. There's a place for you, and you're welcome here.